Libra and Libra Rising. This is going to be your 2025 astrology forecast. Now, we are going to talk about all the major transits. And I have to tell you, this is going to be a big year because we have, I would say, 3 major planets shift into new signs that will also shift the elemental structure that we are experiencing in the collective. We've started already last year with Pluto moving from Earth into air, and now Neptune and Saturn are going to move from water into fire, and Uranus is going to move from Earth into air. So air is going to fuel fire. So I think this is going to be a very fiery year. This year is going to come in hot and heavy, not right from the beginning, but beginning of spring, I think we will really, really feel this. Without further ado, let's dive right in. The nodes are also shifting signs this year, and the nodes are shifting from fire and air into water and earth. So you might think, well, what did you just tell us? Well, yes, it's still true that we will still have an elemental shift in the collective from the earth energy and the water energy into air and fire. However, the nodes might just add a little flavor. There's just this flavor of the nodes. And let's just start with the nodes here. What are the nodes doing? Well, then, like I already said, they shift from Aries into Pisces and from Libra into Virgo. So the North Node is going to be in Pisces. And I think this is a profound shift that will invite us to balance our intuitive qualities with our grounded and detail-oriented nature, right? The part of us that is detail-oriented. I think this is going to be a particularly intense shift for everyone with Pisces or Virgo Sun, Pisces or Virgo Moon, and also Pisces or Virgo Rising. Like for you, this is going to be particularly strong. I know you're a Libra Rising, so this is not true for you, but you might be a Virgo Sun, or you might be a Pisces Sun, right? So please just keep that in mind. Now, when we look at this from your perspective, the perspective of the Libra Rising, this energy shift falls into your 6th house and your 12th house. So we are talking health, day-to-day routine, and your spiritual understanding of life. I also think this is all about spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical healing. The Pisces energy in your 6th house calls you to align your work, like your day-to-day work, with greater compassion and creativity. Now, I know this might sound a little elusive, kind of like, what does that mean? Well, it means that I think you need to tap into your intuition more, right? Like you might say, well, I'm doing this already, right? You have Pisces in the 6th house. But I think there is another level here. And you're also asked to release those rigid ideas of what spirituality means. Because Virgo in the 12th house can give us a little more, it can give us a little more structure in this area, but it can also make us a little more rigid. And it's like, okay, this is my way, and this has worked for me forever, and I'm going to do it this way. And I think you might want to open up a little more in that area. Maybe you want to, maybe you always listen to certain people like spiritual leaders, and maybe you want to open yourself up to new perspectives, different people with maybe not necessarily different views, but maybe they explain things in a different way, different understanding, because that can really fuel you and then also help you in your work. So the growth path here is really finding your joy in service and integrating your spiritual practice into your daily life. And I think to a certain degree, you probably already do that because you are Pisces 6th house. But again, like I said, there might be another level because maybe you're going in circles there, right? Like maybe you're not growing. Maybe you're not really getting to where you want to be. You're like, why am I not there? This is, I can see myself there. This is all like, why am I not there? What am I missing? And I think you can find the missing piece by really opening up to other ideas about spirituality. Now let's look at Mars direct. Mars is still in retrograde. I mean, I don't know when you listen to this, but right now when I'm recording this, Mars is still in retrograde. Mars is going direct in February 24th to be direct. Let me see. Yeah, February 24th. Now for you, Mars direct brings clarity to your social life and also to your long-term aspirations, I think. You have Leo in your 11th house and Cancer in your 10th house. So Mars retrograde through these two areas and probably made you feel a little stuck in your career. Like, you probably sit there thinking, what is going on here? Nothing is really happening. I'm not going anywhere. Where am I even going? Where do I even want to go? Well, maybe I do this. Well, maybe I do that. And nothing is really moving. It's almost like you're moving just in a circle, or you might even just stand still. But I think the idea here is to become more clear about what you actually want, right? It's not about throwing the spaghetti, at the wall and hoping they stick. Right? Are they going to stick? Are they going to fall off? No, it's like you got to become clear first. It's like, am I going to do this? Do I want to do that? No, what do you want? I said that to, what did I say this to earlier? I think to the Virgo Rising. I did a forecast for Virgo Rising, and I said the same to Virgo Rising. What do you want? Come clear. This is the year where we all have to become more clear, specifically with Neptune moving into Aries, also Saturn moving into Aries. You gotta be clear because there's so much fire energy. You gotta use that fire energy with discernment. Conscious, like spread the fire all over. It's not gonna be helpful. You gotta be precise. What do you want? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to go there with? Let's talk about Venus retrograde. So Venus is going to start her retrograde cycle on March 1st and ends it on April 13th. I mean, this shifts a little bit depending on where you are. Maybe it's March 2nd. If you are in Australia, Asia, even Europe, it starts on the 2nd. But the point here is not really the exact date, but the point here is that Venus retrograde is always inviting us to reassess our self-worth. Where are we at there, right? How are we feeling about ourselves? What are our values? Also, self-esteem may come into focus. This is really encouraging our inner growth. And of course, that then also reflects in our relationships, right? Relationship reassessment. What are we doing in our relationships? What's happening? Is something happening? Are we growing together? Where are we growing? What are we growing into? This is really prompting us to reevaluate our commitments and also our desires. Then, like my favorite, every time with Venus in retrograde, past connections they will try to come back. Not, of course, not everyone, but you will, at least one or two, you will see they show up. Might be friends, old friends, but also past lovers. Or maybe you are showing up in someone else's life, seeing where they are at. Maybe you want to rekindle something. But I think we got to be really, really aware here, mindful, and use this time using our discernment really to see if the relationship that we are revisiting here, is that relationship an up-leveled relationship, or are we meeting that person on the same level? Are we meeting them where we left off? Because I can tell you, if you're trying to do that's already a recipe for disaster. Because the relationship ended for a reason, where it ended. So you don't want to start there again. If you want to start anything, right? If you want to renew it, the focus needs to be on new. You want to start on another level. You want to be on another level, and you want to see if they are on another level too, and are those levels aligning? Last thing I want to say here, financial reflections. This is a period where you really want to reconsider, your spending habits, your investments, your financial priorities. I'm not saying you shouldn't spend anything. I'm not one of those astrologers that says don't spend any money during Venus retrograde. No, just live. live. But just check where you want to go in this area with your finances. Where do you want to take this? One more thing. I know this last thing I want to say. No, there's one more thing. Venus is your ruling planet. So partnerships are going to be in the focus for you. So reflect on balance and fairness in relationship and really address any lingering issues and address them with diplomacy. I know you're good at that, generally, I would say. You should say every Libra rising is good at that, but generally I'd say you're trying, you're trying to be diplomatic there. But also just make sure you're not run over. That sometimes you might have that tendency too, where you just want to see the good side of whatever the relationship is showing or is, holding for you and the other. Make sure you're aware and you're going in with, a clear mind, a clear heart, knowing what you want. Again, be clear what you want, and also be honest with yourself. Is that maybe there's a new relationship? Is that relationship really aligned with what you desire in life, where you see yourself in life, where you see yourself going, where you see yourself growing? Now let's talk about what are we talking about next? I'm going to skip the Mercury retrogrades because we're going to have plenty of videos about that in the next few months. You will get them. Don't worry. We have 3 Mercury retrogrades like every year. They are all in fire signs, or they all start in fire signs, so they come in hot and heavy. Let's continue with Neptune here. Neptune in Aries. Now, Neptune in Aries, I think this is a huge transit. It is going to last until 2039. So the next 15 years are going to be experienced with Neptune in Aries. And I think this is a time of spiritual leadership where we all take charge. And I'm not saying you got to take charge for other people, but you got to take charge of your life. Leading your life by example. Leading your life for yourself. And then also the people that you want in your life. Your family, your friends. Neptune is going to move back into Pisces later this year, but really with this ingress at the end of March, the ingress into Aries, we are starting a new era. It's a new era of vision, bold vision, I would say. And like I already said, spiritual leadership. Now for you, my lovely Libras, this is going to be focused in your house of relationships and partnership. So we are talking about business partnerships here, but we're also talking about your partner for life, the partner you choose. Now, Neptune in your 7th house brings in a bit of an idealistic lens to your partnerships, where you have to really go in with discernment, right? Are you true to yourself, or do you just want to see this relationship in a light that I would call wishful thinking? You may, I would say, also attract spiritual and creative partners into your life. So maybe you are actually starting a business relationship with someone that is on your frequency, and maybe you're creating something together, but also maybe you're attracting a partner into your life that, is also living a spiritual life. You got to be really, really, really clear here when it comes to boundaries. You got to know your boundaries, and then you got to implement them. This is essential in the next few it's always essential, but for you, I would say this is particularly essential in the next 15 years. So the first retrograde that we will experience in this sign, where we're retrograding back into Pisces, I think this is the retrograde where you really want to revisit old patterns in relationships, where you're still tapping into old patterns in your relationships, and you want to align with your deeper values for life, the values that will then help you get where you want to go in relationship. Now, we also have Saturn move into Aries this year. Saturn is going to move into Aries on May, I think it's May, let me just think real quick. Where do I have Saturn? It is sometime in May. Yeah, May 24th. And Saturn in Aries is going to usher in a period of discipline, structure, and responsibility. It will ask us to take bold action and purposeful steps to commit to wherever it falls in your life, right? Like in your what area it falls in. And for you, like I already said, Aries is your 7th house. So taking bold actions and being really purposeful. And again, don't fool yourself in this area. Make sure you are really clear. The relationship you're in, is this really true for you? Is this really truly what you want? Or is this more wishful thinking? Can you see yourself with this partner in 15 years? I know this Saturn in Aries is only 3 years, but really Saturn is ushering in an era of discipline in relationship. And that also means looking at it from all angles. Is it right for you? Is it right for the other? Like Saturn has a long-term lens. Also, I would urge you to look at the last Saturn transit. I mean, I don't know how old you are, but the last transit here was in, what year was that? 1997-ish, 1997, 98, that time. What was going on in your life, if you're old enough to remember? What was going on in your life during that time? You know, are you building a solid foundation here with that person? Can you build a solid foundation? And can you build a long-lasting relationship? Now let's talk about my favorite transit of the year. Uranus. Uranus in Gemini. It's just, I'm so excited about this transit. I mean, I don't even have many Gemini placement. I only have my MC there. But it's just so, I'm so excited about this. Because for me, this transit is the evolution of consciousness. It is starting on July 7th, 2025, and it will stay in Gemini until 2032. So for a minute. Now for you, this transit is going to occur in your 9th house, and it encourages you to explore new philosophies, new cultures, new educational pursuits. Be open to traveling and expanding your worldview. And I really believe this is a beautiful time for you to just go out there into the world. I mean, I don't know where you live. I don't know what you do. I don't know how you spend your life. But I would really encourage you to go out there and broaden your horizon, because I think there's something in there for you that you can then utilize in your career, in your purpose work. So I think this is going to be a beautiful transit for you, like especially if you are living in a foreign country. So this is really a transit that, asks you to be open to foreign countries, foreign possibilities, traveling between countries, really revolutionize the way you do things when it comes to traveling. Maybe you haven't been traveling much. Maybe you have. I don't know. Again, I don't know your life, but I think this is a transit that is asking you to, stay open. Also stay open to I don't want to say rebellion in your life, but like breakthroughs and innovation. How can you innovate your life? How can you innovate the way you do things? Because Uranus is the planet of innovation. It's a planet of breakthroughs. And when it moves into the sign of communication, intellect, and adaptability, it will ignite profound shifts in the way we think, connect, and innovate. So innovate. That's all I want to say. Innovate your life. Last transit I want to talk about is Jupiter in Cancer. Beautiful transit. Beautiful for you too, because it is happening in the area of your 10th house, really helping you to expand that area, your purpose work, your work life. But again, I think it is important to be clear. I talked about this earlier when I talked about Mars direct in your 10th house. You got to become clear about what you want in this area. Then Jupiter is going to be a big blessing here. Just going to be a blessing from beginning to end, if you're clear. If you're not clear, Jupiter might just expand the things you're not clear about, right? Like, should I do this for work? Well, Jupiter's like, okay, let's expand it. And you don't want that. So be clear. Jupiter is, let me see, when is this ingress? I don't think I have mentioned it yet. No, June 9th. So you've got a minute. You've got a minute to become more clear in this area. And then really just run with it. Now, if you have any questions about this particular particular transit or any of the transits I talked about, please feel free to leave me a comment. I wish you a beautiful, expansive, healing year full of love and abundance. And if you want to work with me on a personal level, you can send me a message, or you can also book a reading by clicking on the link in the description box. And anything else, ask away. Wish you a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video.